After the 2016 election, Homeland Security claimed Arizona's election system was hacked, though it's unclear by whom. As we get closer to the primary and midterm elections, Christopher Conover tells us the state is making sure that won't happen again.
It's not uncommon to get over 50,000 unwarranted attempts or intrusions a month.
You heard that correctly. The Secretary of State's office houses the Division of Elections, and someone tries to hack the computers there an average of 50,000 times a month. And it's not just that office.
As a state, we get attacked about 8.5 million times a month.
While both of these figures may seem staggering, they are average compared to state governments around the country. Arizonans first became acutely aware of the hacking possibilities in 2016 when the FBI revealed Arizona's election database was attacked. The state's cybersecurity team says that report may have been missing some context.
I don't want to say, there were people lying or fabricating or anything like that. But in my opinion, it was, at least in the state of Arizona, it was exaggerated a little more than I would have liked to have seen it. What happens is we always get attacks against systems. There's always people trying to get in. There's people coming in from all over the world. So what they're trying to do, we don't know. They may be just trying to do their normal thing of stealing data and make money. And though they may be a targeting system, could I sit here and say nobody in this world is interested in changing our elections? No. I'm sure there's many people that are trying to do that.
So how is the state keeping hackers out of its database? First of all, your vote is not online. The machines that count ballots in each precinct are not connected to the internet. The only way to hack them would be to take the data cards out of the machines, and there are thousands in the state. Ballots are also paper, so they can always be recounted. Now, our voter information is stored on the voter rolls, and security for those is a different story. They are online, which means a hacker could potentially change a voter's identity information. That's one of the nightmare scenarios for election officials.
So you go to the polls someday and you're not Chris and you don't live on the street that you live on. If you really wanted to mess up an election, that'd be the way to do it.
That's why election officials have built safeguards for everyone who has access to that database.
We instituted something called multi-factor. It's a way to authenticate that a person using our database is authorized to do it. So it's not just using a password. You'd also have something like a key tag or something that's sitting around your desk where the computer has to read that and the password. That makes it harder to hack into. And probably the biggest thing that we learned was those, if there's a bar that you're supposed to enter information in, let's say it's asking for your name, it shouldn't accept any other characters except for letters.
That keeps someone from entering programming code instead of names into the database, a common way hackers plant programs to steal data. Even if the voter rolls were altered, someone who believes they should be eligible to vote can always cast a provisional ballot. Then they can prove they're eligible and their ballot will be counted. Officials are doing more, though. Earlier this year, Governor Ducey created the Arizona Cybersecurity Team. Its job is to outsmart the hackers. This keeps the team busy, but they can't talk about how they do it.
We tried to put together a bunch of steps and a layered approach to security to protect our data. So remember, when you ask that question, the question's personal because it's also my data. It's my family's data. It's my friend's data. So that's what I'm protecting.
The Hollywood image of the hacker is a single person sitting in a dark room. Sure, those rogues exist, but they aren't the only threats.
It also could be as complex as that same guy has control of 1,000 computers around the world, and he can have all 1,000 at once launch some sort of attack against a single entity or multiple entities.
Arizona's team is in constant contact with federal cybersecurity officials to make sure they know the latest threats and methods, which can change daily, sometimes more often.
The bad guys only need to be right once, and our systems need to be right every time.